Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at the Google Pixel 7a and whether it's still worth it in 2024. In this crazy saturated market of budget devices as well as mid-range phones, the Pixel A series has always stood out for two main reasons, and that is the camera quality, which is comparable with flagship phones, and the software experience. So this phone is future-proofed up to May 2028, which is when the final software update will be pushed to this phone. So, it's gonna last you a long time. Even if you buy it now in 2024, you're gonna get like 4 years of software updates out of this phone. But you're pretty much getting all those same Pixel exclusive features for a fraction of the price with this device right here. The only features you're really missing are those new AI features on the new Pixel devices, which I'm not really a fan of. I never use too much, so I feel like you're not really missing out. You're still getting all those great Pixel features like call screening, as well as now playing on your lock screen. So right here is the Pixel 8 Pro. This is in the new bay blue color, and I love it. I'm actually a big fan of the blue on the new Pixel compared to the 7a. But honestly, the experience is the same. When you're using these phones, all the menus, all the customization options, everything about the phones is the same when you're using them. The only real difference that you're paying for is the boosted hardware on the 8 Pro. But this phone is a lot more expensive than this phone for sure. So let's talk about that. So when this phone came out, it was $599. And a lot of people saw that as like a really big price hike compared to last year's 6a. Considering it wasn't an amazing upgrade, it was just minor improvements. But since then, the price has dropped dramatically. So now you can pick it up for about $399. There's deals coming around, you can get it even cheaper, or if you want to get it renewed, possibly even cheaper again. So, this is a cheap phone, especially comparing it to the top of the line Pixel that's come out this year. Then, this is like a third of the price, if not less. So let's jump back and talk about the camera in this phone. So on this Pixel 7a, there was actually an upgrade for the first time in a long time on the A series. So since the Pixel 2, they've been rocking the same sensor, which was like a 13 megapixel sensor, 12.2 actually, until this phone. And now this phone is jumped all the way up to 64 megapixel. So, megapixels aren't everything, but it does give you some benefits from increasing that count. And the first one is you're getting better digital zoom. So if you are cropping in 2 times in the camera app, you're getting much better results than last year's 6a. So right now I'm outside, I've been taking some pictures with this Pixel 7a. I realized you're never actually able to make use of the full 64 megapixel sensor. So it's always going to pixel bin down to 16 by default. So it's going to turn 4 pixels into 1. And overall, that is going to give you a better image. But it would be nice to have an option to have the original file without all the processing taking place. Even if you select RAW, it's still going to bin down to 16, which is kind of odd. So yeah, might be a deal breaker for some, but you're still getting amazing pictures without doubt. And in terms of low light performance, this phone is unmatched in the budget and mid-range phone world. This thing with Google's computational photography is amazing at pretty much any scenario. It's comparable to flagship phones, even the latest iPhone it's comparable to. Just the colors, the dynamic range, the overall crispiness and sharpness of the image, everything is just exceptional on this phone for the price point. And if you're looking for a cheap phone with a great camera in 2024, you don't have to look any further. This is it right here. In terms of pictures on the wide angle camera, again, with the computational algorithms Google has, amazing results. You're getting really sharp, crisp images, little distortion, great colors, great dynamic range, everything you could want in a camera. This has it for pictures. In terms of video, they did bump it up a little bit, so you're getting 4K 60 on here, which is kind of a standard at this point. 4K 60 is pretty much on every device, but I must say, video quality is not an area this phone shines in. It's just overall a little bit over sharpened, a little bit cropped in, and just not the best. It doesn't have the best dynamic range. It doesn't have the best depth. Everything's just very flat and just grainy. In terms of the wide angle camera, you're only getting 4K 30 video on there. And again, it's not amazing. It's actually worse than the main sensor, of course. But yeah, apart from the colors, I would say everything is just not amazing. It's not great sharpness, it's not great clarity. Dynamic range is for sure okay, and it's definitely an okay wide angle camera for video. You're gonna get away with it for, your social media posts. But yeah, it's nothing special. It's nothing I would really use for creating content on YouTube. Whereas on the Pixel 8 Pro, I would definitely consider using that footage for my YouTube videos. So video is definitely a big area of separation between the budget lineup of Pixels and the flagship lineup. The 8 Pro has nailed video this year. The colors, the sharpness, the depth, everything about the video is amazing, and it's really comparable to the iPhone, which I always felt was a mile ahead the Pixel, but this year it's gotten really, really close. So if you're not into professional video for YouTube or, for creating in general, and you just want something to capture the moment for social media, this phone's gonna do it fine. In terms of the front-facing camera, it's a 13 megapixel sensor. It's okay. I find it's a little bit cropped in and kind of hard to take a selfie. I have pretty long arms, so I'm able to get myself framed correctly, but if you didn't, it would be really close to your face. But yeah, the selfies from this front-facing camera are definitely okay. In low light conditions, it can take a long time to take them. There's quite a lot of shutter lag. So this right now is a front-facing camera test, and I guess microphone test on the Pixel 7a. So it's nothing special. It is 4K 30, dynamic range is okay, but overall the color accuracy and the over sharpening just makes it a really unpleasant experience. But it's great for video calls, all your standard stuff, but yeah, nothing professional by any means. I'm a really big fan of astrophotography, so if you put this phone on a tripod, it will do a long exposure and capture the stars in the sky, and you can get some unbelievable shots from this phone. You're able to see constellations, you're able to see gas clouds and everything. So yeah, cameras are definitely a win, we know that for sure by now. Now let's talk about the design. I'm a really big fan of this year's design. I really like how it looks similar to the rest of the Pixel lineup from last year, so it looks like the Pixel 7. It has that same sort of metal band design, similar, sides with the frame and everything. Really does look like a smaller version of the Pixel 7. And I love the feel in the hand. This phone is very comfortable to hold, and I think it's like the perfect size smartphone. It's got a really nice big display, and it's just really easy to hold in the hand and kind of, reach around throughout the screen. It's a really nice change coming to this phone from my 15 Pro Max or even my Pixel 8 Pro. Sometimes those phones just feel too big. So it's always nice to come back to a smaller sized smartphone. The only area I'm disappointed in is on the front, you now have slightly thicker bezels going around that screen, and it doesn't really look like a 2024 smartphone. You can definitely tell it's slightly older because of those bezels, but it's still a great screen. It gets to about 1000 nits of brightness. It's a very clear screen. It's got great viewing angles. It's got really nice colors, and overall the sharpness and the fluidity is great with the new 90 Hz. It's not quite there with 120, but it still does the job, and it feels a lot smoother than last year's at 60 Hz, which just felt so choppy and laggy. So it's a nice improvement to have the 90 on here. In terms of the resolution, you're getting 2400 by 1080, so a decent amount of pixels on this phone. And I would say the screen is definitely a win. It's a great screen. If you're not bothered about 120 Hz or 144, then there's nothing really bad about this. If you're in direct sunlight outside, it can get a bit difficult to see the display, especially compared to the higher end phones. But apart from that, it is a great display without doubt. On the back, you do have this plastic design. Obviously, I've got double tap enabled, but yeah, it's plastic on the back. So it's not amazing, it's not glass. It does feel okay, and sometimes it kind of feels like glass when the phone is cold. But the frame around the whole side of the phone is made of solid aluminium, so it does feel nice and premium. I've not got any scratches or scuffs on here actually. And it's held up fairly well over the past, 7 or 8 months I've been using this phone. I can't even remember how long I've had it, but it's held up super well. There's not a single mark on this phone whatsoever. This phone is actually IP67 water and dust resistant, and that's kind of unusual for a budget phone because normally it's quite expensive to get the IP rating and conduct all the tests, and a lot of smaller budget-friendly companies don't do that. So something great about having a company like Google making your budget or mid-range phone is that they actually put in those more premium flagship-like features. But it's a pretty powerful phone for a budget mid-range device. So this thing has a Tensor G2, which is the same flagship chip as the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro. So you're getting that same flagship level of performance from last year in this phone, which still holds up really well in 2024. You're still able to play high-end games on here. You're able to play FPS shooters like Call of Duty Mobile. You're able to play, all of those top performing smartphone games without any lag whatsoever. I mean, maybe you can't max out every single option, but you get a really pleasant playing experience on this phone, and I've not had it lag or stutter on me. So now let's talk about the biometrics of this phone. So a lot of people always bash the A series for having a slow, inaccurate fingerprint scanner, and it hasn't really changed on this phone, but it does definitely work. I would say it's about 80% accurate. So 8 out of 10 times it's gonna unlock. And if your hands are wet or it's raining outside, the chance is gonna go down. So it's probably gonna be like a 5 out of 10 chance. So like 50-50 whether it unlocks. But something new to the Pixel A series is on the 7A, you now have the option for face unlock. So using that front-facing camera, you're able to unlock your phone. And it does work really fast and it is really accurate, but I don't know exactly how secure it is because there's no depth information. It's truly relying on just the image. So I don't know whether you could fool this. I don't know what algorithms Google has in place, but it is a fast face unlock for sure. Inside of this guy, you have a 4,385 milliamp hour cell, and it performs great. Battery life is exceptional. I think because of the fact you've got a less bright display than some of the flagships, and you've only got 90 Hz over 120, and you've got that less powerful chip compared to the new ones, and also it's a Tensor chip, so it's optimized for this phone. All of that combines to give you really good battery life. Like from the moment I wake up in the morning, using this throughout the day for social media, watching videos, all my standard usages throughout the day, even taking pictures and videos, this thing still does last throughout the whole day until I go to bed. So, roughly about 6 hours screen on time, I would say, possibly even a little bit more. But yeah, pretty decent battery life. And if it does down you, you have 18 watt fast charging through USB-C, so not amazingly fast, but pretty decent. And now you've got wireless charging, so that's something new on the A series, is now you can actually charge it through a wireless charging pad, which is great for me. If I'm in my car or at my desk, I just want to put my phone on a charging pad. I don't want to have to find a cable and plug it in. And so keeping the setup clean and using wireless chargers is now possible on this phone, but it is really slow. Like it's 5 watts wireless charging. So you're gonna be there all day waiting for this to charge. So right now I'm just gonna show you a speaker test on this phone. So it does have stereo speakers. They get decently loud. There's not an amazing amount of bass, but they're pretty decent. So have a listen. So overall, I would definitely recommend you pick up the Google Pixel 7a in 2024 if you're looking for that Google Pixel experience with the Google Pixel features and you're looking for great future software support as well as a great camera. You have nowhere else to look other than the Pixel 7a because it really does nail all of those things. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Would you pick up the 7a? Even the 6a is a pretty decent phone in 2024 and very similar to this phone. You're just lacking a few things, which I personally feel are deal breakers. So I would always go for the 7a. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below like I mentioned, because I'm super curious what you guys think of this phone. I think it's a great phone, but everyone has a different opinion. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.